Hey there, this is Faith Harvieux, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my applied project. My introduction. Social emotional learning empowers students to develop, manage, and recognize the consequences and importance of their emotions and actions. According to Hoffman, 2009, concerns over the vulnerability of children and youth to various social and psychological problems and the potential role of schools in eliminating such risks have helped fuel the growing popularity of efforts to help youth become more socially and emotionally competent. To me, I find this shocking that this was written in 2009, looking here in 2021 and seeing that social emotional learning really I don't think has made as big of a step as it should have. This is why I have such a passion for SEL. When I was younger, I had an anxiety disorder and I really needed the support that I wasn't getting. And so my job as a teacher is to make sure that my students are able to get the support that I couldn't get. Socioeconomic status. Child and adolescent development is influenced by factors that are familial and community-based. When a child's home life is negatively impacted, their social-emotional needs are profound, complex, and pervasive. The need for programs that support the social-emotional and academic development of children is evident. So, the purpose of my mini course. This year, my school began implementing SEL in our whole school, school-wide. Teachers, however, may not understand the implications of SEL and why it is essential. I've worked alongside my principal, counselors, and graduate colleagues to assess the needs in my school and across Georgia. Using this research and my passion for SEL, I designed a mini course that would effectively describe where our students stand developmentally, how the poverty rate in our school affects students socially and emotionally, resources available in our county, and an opportunity to refine what we are doing already. So now for the content. This is my mini course. So what I was hoping to do would be to show you the Zoom recording, because I was hoping to have people come join me on Zoom and then me record that. However, my principal, once I proposed it to her, asked that I do this live in January. So on the 13th of December, I will be presenting this at a cabinet meeting with the counselors and administration, and then hopefully if it is approved, I will present in January, probably like the second week. Hello everyone, and welcome to this professional development for social emotional needs at our school, Winholt. I'm going to start off by showing you guys a quick video that I hope will help you understand what SEL is.
There's a lot of talk these days about SEL, social emotional learning. But what exactly is it? Social emotional learning is the process of learning social and emotional skills, and it's just as important as learning reading or math. This learning process is most effective when it begins early and continues through high school. Social emotional skills are essential for success in school, work, and life. With SEL, students learn to manage their own emotions and behaviors, have empathy and show care and concern for others, solve problems effectively, make responsible decisions, and maintain healthy relationships. Students learn to recognize what's happening inside them and to be aware of their emotions, which helps them deal with strong emotions and impulsive behaviors. It helps them stop, take a breath, and think about a situation before acting. Students learn to identify others' emotions and perspectives, which helps them empathize and show compassion, no matter who they are or what their background is. It's not difficult to imagine how this is important in the classroom and in life. Students learn to solve problems in peaceful ways and communicate assertively about what they need or want. This helps them get along with other students and get the help they need from adults. When students learn to make responsible decisions about their lives and their future, things can turn out better. research shows social-emotional learning makes a difference. Students who participate in SEL do better academically, have improved attitudes and behaviors, and act in delinquent or disruptive ways less often. In the United States, students with strong social-emotional competence are twice as likely to earn a college degree and nearly 50% more likely to graduate from high school and have a full-time job by age 25. Just as important, students who are socially and emotionally competent have more friends. This means they're more likely to feel connected to school and do well, and less likely to be left out or bullied. Simply put, by participating in social-emotional learning, students learn the skills to succeed in every facet of school and the rest of their lives.
So we will dive a little bit deeper into that social-emotional learning, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what that means for us in our school, but I hope that video gave you a little bit of a better understanding of why it is so needed. So for those of you who don't know me, I teach 5th grade here at Win-Holt. I'm also a graduate student in the Department of Educational Psychology at UGA with a concentration on gifted and creative education. My practicum research work focuses on social-emotional learning and the critical need for SEL in gifted and Georgia schools. So I want to start off this conversation with kind of like the baseline or the beginning of what needs to be known before we can dive into this social-emotional work. So I like to talk about scaffolding because we talk about scaffolding our lessons, we talk about scaffolding the activities that we provide our students for when we're done with the lesson, but when I think about SEL, scaffolding means something a little bit different. So the key elements of scaffolding are the standard, ledger, and trisomes. The standards are the vertical tubes that transfer all the weight from the bottom to the top. When it comes to SEL for our students, Erickson's stages of psychosocial development are our standards. They're what holds all of the weight. So as you can see here, looking at this timeline, we see from infant to older adult what human development looks like when it comes to psychosocial development. When we think about our students, the ones in our elementary school, we focus on this preschooler and school ager group. Most of our students will be in this school ager group. However, our kindergarten and first graders may fall into this early preschooler area. So let's talk about what that means. So initiative is that first group right here, and this is a period that involves the child regularly interacting with other children at school. Central to this stage is play, as it provides children with the opportunity to explore their interpersonal skills through initiating activities. This is something to remember as we go into planning what we want to teach for social-emotional learning. This age group is going to want to be involved in these activities, and incorporating some type of play would be really beneficial for them. The next group is industry, and like I said, this is most of the kids at our school. So at this stage, a child's peer group will gain greater significance and will become a major source of the child's self-esteem. So think about friends. How can we incorporate socially emotional learning in our classrooms that will help students develop these great friend relationships? It also mentions that the child now feels the need to win approval by demonstrating specific competencies that are valued by society and begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishments. So understanding that students want to feel that sense of accomplishment. So we need to be able to help support them in feeling that. So I mentioned earlier about socioeconomic status, but how does it play a factor when we talk about social-emotional learning? So child and adolescent development is influenced by factors that are familial and community-based. When a child's home life is negatively impacted, their social-emotional needs increase. The need for programs that support the social, emotional, and academic development of children is evident. So let's take a look at our data. In Georgia, 10.3 million people live here. 1.3 million, being 10% of people, live in poverty in Georgia. So now let's take a look at Lawrenceville. We're kind of going down on a smaller scale, right? We're zooming in. 5.9, a little over 5.9, out of 29.4 thousand people, which is greater than 20% of people, live below the poverty line. This is much higher than the state average and much higher than the national average, which is only 12.3%. So taking a look at Winholt and Dr. Bub, I'm going to get some more information from my counselors this week coming up for that one. I want it to be accurate. So what does this mean? At our school, the effects of poverty on many of our families' abilities to support their children's development and on children's ability to achieve are profound, complex, and pervasive. It's clear that we need to do something. So what are we doing already? So our school has developed a word of the month. So each month we have a different word, and you've probably heard these on the announcements, and Ms. Cohn has probably offered to, or asked you to write these words on your board and to spark discussion. However, we haven't really built any discussion questions around this, and we really haven't had a great talk about what is expected when we share this word. But the conversations that we've started already and the path that we're going in currently is definitely going to be beneficial for our students. So what are some strategies that we can implement now with this word of the month? So first of all, don't just write the word on your board. That's not going to really start any type of thinking for your students, and it's not going to help them develop socially and emotionally unless we really start discussing these words and what they mean. So use discussion questions to spark discussion in your room. Have students act out scenarios that promote or our focus word, and ask students to create journal entries to describe situations where this topic would be prevalent. So what I'm thinking we can do today is let's come up with some discussion questions that we can use in our classrooms. You guys can use your phone to scan this QR code right here, or you can type this into your URL. So on the Padlet here, I would like for you guys to add some different example questions that you could share or you could ask your students in your classroom. You may also have some resources or books that you find would be great to share with our students, and you can add these under the specific month as well. I'm glad that we came up with so many different discussion questions that we could use in our classrooms. So let's now focus on some resources that are already available to us. Dr. Bub, this is where I will go in and focus on the Nearpod SEL activities that our county has given. I don't want to go through this whole thing because it will take quite a bit, and I definitely want to make this a participating thing with my colleagues and allow them to get on their computers and try out some of these activities themselves. But there's over 100 Nearpod activities, and I think that they've been available to us all year, but I have taken the time to kind of become an expert on this so that I would be able to support teachers when they have questions, and we'd actually be able to use this resource better. It's so exciting that we have done so much work today. We've made discussion questions. We have talked about those Nearpods that we are able to use, and some of us were not really using them yet because we didn't know how to use them. So I'm glad that we've really taken this first step, and I will be sharing with you guys a Google folder that we can start submitting some different activities into that we're doing in our classrooms, and just stuff that we can share with each other so we can start really improving the social emotional lives of our students. So to end this presentation or this professional development, I would like to share a quick video with you guys that I find really got me to my core and really made me think about why we need to be doing this at our school.
When I look back at all the important milestones in my life, I'm reminded of one that seemed small but made all the difference. It was the day my second grade teacher introduced us to social emotional learning. I learned about my emotions and what empathy is, how to talk through problems with my classmates, and how to make good decisions. It really helped me understand how to manage all the things on my mind, especially strong emotions. They were often the things crowding my brain, making it hard to think and focus. Sometimes all it took was a breath. And 1, 2, 3, saying, "I can do it." When I knew what to do with my emotions, it freed up space in my mind to learn. I became really good at it. I learned how to find my own path and solve all sorts of problems. My social emotional skills have always been there, backing me up. They helped me gain confidence to pursue the things I really wanted, like a spot on the soccer team, that A in biology. They taught me to listen and walk in other people's shoes. And that has unlocked so many doors in my life. 25 years later, I use my social emotional skills every day, especially with my patients. I know what you're feeling. I've been there. Take a deep breath. Social emotional learning. It makes all the difference.
Again, thank you guys so much for participating. Please look for an email this evening with a quick survey that I would love for you to complete. This really helps me look forward into my research and figure out what is still needed in our school. I will also send out a link to a Google folder, like I mentioned before, that we can add resources for everyone to use. Thanks again. So, after sharing this presentation with my colleagues, I hope that they will have a better understanding for what we are doing in our classrooms right now, or what we're doing in our school right now, and what they can do in their classrooms moving forward. I also want to make sure that they know that they can contact me at any time if they have questions about those Nearpod SELs. And moving forward, I hope to share more resources with the teachers at my school to help support the social emotional learning of our students. Making my next steps, I plan to continue working on my school's SEL committee, collaborating with educators, and sending resources that I find beneficial for our students. Additionally, I plan to utilize the programs available from my county at least 3 days per week. Currently, I feel like I'm not using enough of these resources, and they are great. And after doing some intense research and digging in, it is clear that they are usable for my students. I aim to become an expert on these resources available within our county and outside of our county. So any resources that I can find, I hope that I can share them and also be an expert in them so that people can come and ask me questions if they have them. I want to be readily reachable when a staff member questions these resources, as I said. With further action, research, and my passion for SEL, I see myself advancing considerably in advocacy for our gifted children and also for all children at our school. Social emotional learning is an essential aspect of education. It's often overlooked, yet incredibly significant. And here are some of the references from what I did, and I will send this in a PDF document as well.